Austin. I'm here with James Parker. He's a solo artist in Austin, Texas. He also plays in a band, Roommates in Rehab. You know, I remember the first time I heard him sing, I came into Sanjak, and I think it was, he's out in the crowd with just his vocal mic, and I was like, this is fantastic. How you been doing, man?
Been doing pretty good. Stuck at home like everyone else. So
For sure. So take me back to March 17th, the day they closed the bars.
I had all this stuff booked out for South by right before this went down. And I started getting all these cancellations a few days before that happened, and South by got shut down. At that point, I probably lost about a month's gigs looking forward. And then the day that the bars shut down, I feel like it was kind of already done at that point. Everybody kind of knew what was happening here. It's kind of crazy. You know, you're freaking out. You're an independent contractor, so you don't really qualify for unemployment or anything like that. We do now, obviously,
Right.
because of this. But it was definitely pretty scary that first week or two.
So did you have a scheduled show that day?
Actually, I was booked at Sanjak that day.
No, right on. Yep.
Yeah, so wound up getting canceled, but wasn't was what it was.
What was the last show you played before everything happened?
I believe it was the night before I played upstairs at Sanjak as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. During the week, I wind up there a whole lot. On the weekends, not as much. But yeah, I remember. I think it was Sanjak the night before.
Was it a good show, or?
Yeah, it was. It was a pretty good show. I mean, there were a lot of people already kind of distancing, and
The vibe was already there for
yeah,
what
the
was
vibe
to
was
come.
already kind of weird, and especially because I think it was that day, like the stock market had freaked out or whatever about the whole thing, and so like people were like freaking out. I remember hearing them talking about it, but yeah, I mean, you know, it's kind of all like ancient history. It feels like this last couple of months has lasted way too long.
I know, because you're one of those people that I know that's just going, playing shows, and then
Right.
for people like us to just stop. It's like,
well, it's when you're out at a different bar every night, playing to a different crowd. Sometimes 2-3 shows a day at different bars. And then all of a sudden you're stuck in your house and not doing anything or not interacting with anyone. It's kind of surreal.
for sure. So what have you been doing during this time? You've been writing?
Yeah, I've been writing a whole lot. I've been trying to do about a live stream a week. We did that kind of song swap live stream together at one point, and I've done a couple of those. But I'm also working on an album that I'm recording with Roommates in Rehab right now.
So how far along are you with that?
So we've got it written and got pretty much the scratch takes done, but there's so much work that needs to be done. It's probably months out at this point.
So was this something you were kind of planning on doing before all this stuff happened, or this was just something as a result of the things that happened that you chose to do?
Yeah, so it's something that we kind of had on the books to do, but all of a sudden we had all this extra time. So, it's not the worst time in the world to do it.
That's awesome. You got any release date planned for that, or are you just...
Not really. I would say we'll probably have a single out for it in the next month or two, and then maybe a month or two after that, the release, but we're working on it.
Yeah, I know it's been interesting for a couple of my friends have been trying to release stuff during this time that like the backlog to even get onto those services is incredible.
Yeah, I would believe it. I mean, everyone's stuck in their house. If they had something they were close to being done with, I'm sure it's finished now. So
Right. So today's Friday. The bars are opening. What's your plan going forward? You got any shows lined up?
Yeah, so I'm playing at 7 p.m. at Beachside Billy's out at Valente Beach. It's kind of like a water park. We're going to see how that goes. That show is kind of normally not crowded anyway, so I'm not too concerned about it. It's a fairly large outdoor area, and people just sit at picnic tables and that kind of thing. So I think it'll be a good setup for it. What about you? What do you got going on?
Nothing on the books as of yet. Just working on getting some stuff lined up. But do you have anything planned outside of the area, like any traveling, like down to San Antonio or anything like that?
Valente, like where I'm going, that's probably like 45 minutes, an hour away.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I actually don't have anything booked until June 13th, where I'm down in South Texas somewhere. I don't know exactly where at. I don't have really any shows booked back yet, other than just I got a phone call for that one. So we'll see how it goes and where everything goes from there. I think a lot of people are cautious, and especially bar owners, waiting to see how Friday goes and if they can afford musicians or not.
Right, and I think that's going to be the catch 22 is yeah, there might be some people that hire us on initially, but then after that when they realize that at 25% they're not making that much money, how long can they afford to pay us?
Right. That's the thing. It's most bars that don't pack out 25% on their own are not having music, and they have us to fill the other 75%. So, like, does that make sense from a business perspective? I don't really think so for a lot of people, but maybe we'll see.
But
We'll
if you
see.
got some larger place like what you're talking about for
Yeah,
today,
I think those kind of places are okay. You know, being a water park, it's gigantic. People aren't that close to each other, and you're just kind of standing in the corner and going across the PA. So
so you've got your record coming up with roommates in rehab. Are you doing anything solo?
I've got quite a bit that I've written during the break because I'm just sitting around. But it's I'm not sure. Some of those will probably wind up being roommates and rehab songs, and some of them will probably come out under my own name. So we'll see.
That's cool. So y'all all doing it like at your own homes, or are you getting together to do it, or are you?
So basically, I don't have any family or anyone that I see around here. I don't interact with anyone. And so the one person that's been coming over to my house to record is Rodney. And he also doesn't have family in town. So it's not like we're interacting with anyone who's particularly high risk or really more than a couple people. But
For sure.
yeah, we've been going back and forth.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen y'all do a couple things, and so like, if you could make anything go a certain way, what way would you like to see the music industry in Austin go at this point?
It is going to be nice. Inadvertently, South by Southwest kind of bankrupted themselves with this because they can't put on two festivals with what they had sitting around. I know a couple of people that work with them, and they're freaking out over the whole thing. But in that way, you know, it might be easier to put on a smaller, more local festival just to build it kind of back up from that perspective. From the perspective of Austin, you know, this is a city where a whole lot of people come out and see live music, and a whole lot of them have been stuck and not able to do that for a really long time. So, could be a good time for people to learn about the bands and the people that are around them. I don't think that we're out of the clear yet as to people coming out of their house. I think a lot of people are still scared. It's going to be a long time before the music industry kind of recovers from it. So I don't know. I don't know what changes we can make in the short term to really like that would really make a difference if we're only filling up the bars with 20 people at a time.
Sure,
You know.
but like long term, what are you thinking?
You know, there's the cool thing that's coming out of this is everyone's learning how to live stream. So maybe we can create a larger audience. Maybe some of the venues start working with live stream capabilities. I know Sanjak and a few others had thought about doing that before all this went down. But you know, that could add to the market as a whole. But I don't really see that much changing long term. You know, we're kind of a tourist trap for a lot of people anyway. So it's.
Hmm.
You know, you just got to work on yourself and hope what you're doing is working. I don't know that the city as a whole can do too much to change or would do too much to change.
You never know. And so, what can people do to support you at this time?
Yeah, so you can find me on Spotify, iTunes, all that kind of stuff under James Byron Parker. Or you can look up Roommates in Rehab within a month or two. The release will be coming out. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, all that nonsense. But yeah, I think the big thing to help artists right now is just getting eyes on it. You know, even if you don't have any money to donate right now through PayPal or whatever on these live streams, and you see somebody live stream, just watch it. And if you like what's going on, click that share button because that going around to your friends and your family, you know, 50 more people seeing us means 5 more people at our shows in a month or two, and that's kind of a unique ability that we have right now is to really share this kind of thing because we're all stuck and we need something to look at. So send it around to your friends and family, no matter if it's me or if it's any other musician you happen to see that's doing a really good job.
Well, helping one of us is helping all of us, really.
Exactly.
Getting the awareness out there. And that's what I'm trying to do kind of with this episode is just highlight all of the people that I respect, and I respect their work ethic and also their musicianship most of all. So that's why I wanted to have you on, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's I think it's a really cool opportunity to just take those connections that you're making while you're sitting here talking on Facebook with people and just really help out artists, whether or not you're able to give money or not. And Obviously, we're not able to gig, but a lot of us are on unemployment and whatnot. So, we're working our way through it. But what really matters is when we come out the other side, if we have fans or not by the end of it.
For sure. Except for tonight, you're playing out of Valente.
Yeah. So that is like this. I don't even really know how to describe that. It's a very strange gig. The owners of that place are great. They treat us really great. Generally the people sitting outside are super into the music and try to be a part of it as much as possible. But those background gigs are kind of strange sometimes.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, you're essentially just background music at that point, and especially at the point where people don't want to come up and talk to you as much. But yeah,
that's a change I hope personally that we can make, is like that maybe, even these places where it was, background music in the past, if we can make it more of a center focus of what's going on.
That definitely works out for some places. I think this particular one, it's just so big, it wouldn't really make sense to do that. But and that's I don't know. Those background gigs can kind of be killer. Like, there's a few restaurants, I won't name anybody, but a few restaurants on 6th Street that playing at is kind of like it's very disheartening, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah, and those those restaurants could do better to make it a feature. Put a poster on the door saying Friday night we got this thing going on, instead of just whoever it happens to be standing behind the curtain that night. So
for sure. And on that note, so if you could play any place in Austin, like where would you want to play? And maybe somebody out there that's listening has the connection to make this happen. So
kind of a goal of mine since I've been here is to play Saxon. Saxon Pub, that listening room is just such an incredible place to be. And I know a lot of people that have played there. I've never
reached out and I guess tried to do it.
Should do that. maybe now's the time to shoot them an email.
Yeah, and maybe with the Roommates record coming out,
Yeah. But that's a really cool spot. Those of you listening out on the internet, if you've never been to Saxon Pub, I would highly suggest it. It's very much a listening room. You go in, everyone's quiet, but it's an incredible sound system, an incredible stage, and just really great crowd every night.
Oh yeah, best sound system probably in Austin.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, cool, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Those of you out on the internet listening, if you happen to be out by Lake Austin, or it's a lake or a river, I don't know. But if you're near Valente Beach, hit up Valente Beach tonight.
For sure, man.
Sweet.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Cool. Talk to you later, Sean.
Talk to you later. I've got on here now with me